There is a great probability you are strongly passionate about something. It might be classical music, early music, Baroque music, violin, viola, cello da spalla, instrument making, arts in general, painting, poetry, literature, personal development, yoga, photography, you name it. You are probably passionate about something. And in this conversation, I want to speak about passion and how you could share your passion and be understood by more people rather than be misunderstood and disagreed with, because that hurts. Because when you share something very personal, something very dear to you, you prefer to be understood and respected, at least listened to. So before we dive into this, I want to begin by giving the definition. What do I mean by the word passion? Because the truth is, at least in the English language, this is a very complicated word with lots of meanings. So let's define this. Passion, strong, barely controllable emotion. A state of outburst of strong emotion. An intense desire or enthusiasm for something. A thing arousing great enthusiasm. The suffering of Jesus. An account of the passion from any of the Gospels, a musical setting of any of the biblical accounts of the passion. So, what type of passion am I talking about? I'm talking about the intense desire or enthusiasm for something or a thing arousing that great enthusiasm. So, we began this conversation with presupposition that you are probably passionate about something, and given the fact that you are watching this video and maybe following my profile or my page, you are probably passionate about something to do with music, maybe instrument making, maybe violin, viola, cello, Baroque music, early music, cello da spalla. So you are passionate about one of those things, chances are. And the question is, why are you passionate about those things? Let's say, why are you passionate about music? Why have you become a musician? It's one of the most difficult professions out there. Why didn't you find a normal job? Well, the answer to this question is probably it makes you feel something. And the question is, what does that mean? What does that mean? It makes you feel something. Well, there's a very good probability that being a musician, being on stage, playing the violin, playing your very favorite composition, your favorite composer, someone that you love from a very tender age, maybe that makes you feel your favorite feeling to feel, and you want to do this again and again and again. And this is why you've been into classical music or Baroque music or violin playing for decades. So, and when you share that passion with other people, it makes you feel that you are finding new colors in music. You probably feel like you are becoming a better person. Maybe you feel that sets you on fire, that makes you more magnetic personality, maybe more charismatic personality, and you really want to speak about this, and you really want to be listened to and understood, not just share information, but be understood, because there is a huge difference between knowing and understanding. Albert Einstein said, any fool can know, the point is to understand. Now, would you agree that there are two kinds of people? You probably encountered two kinds of people. There are people who listen to you, and they are even not listening. They listen in order to disagree. And then there are these beautiful, attractive people who listen because they really want to learn something from you. They make an effort to understand your message. And would you agree that this kind of people makes you feel better? This is where you feel belonging. Because there, you do not belong. You feel rejected. Now, I want to speak about how could you share your passion in such a way that it brings you more pleasure. I'm not going to say that if you follow my advice, you will avoid all pain. And we're not going in that direction because it makes it kind of a complete nonsense. Because what do you mean by this? How do you know what is pleasure if you don't know what is pain? So how do you know what is consonance if you do not know what is dissonance? We are not going to speak about banning all dissonances from a symphony by Mozart or Shostakovich, because what will remain? No, we are going to respect the symphony of life. And that means there are negative experiences and there are positive experiences. And of course, as a human, you want to have more of these positive experiences. Now, how can you share your passion for Baroque music, classical music, Renaissance music, chamber music, violin, violoncello, instrument making, culture in general, and be understood rather than be rejected by more people? You can do this. Listen to this. This is vitally important. Listen to this very carefully, as if your mental health, your sense of well-being, your success, your life depends on this knowledge, because I believe it does. Listen to this very carefully and maybe even take a note so that you do not forget what I have said, because there is certain power in pressure of pen to paper. So I want you to do this to help yourself to memorize this. So you do this by making what you do more relevant to more people. You might be arguing, well, how can I make relevant classical music to more people? It's not banjo, it's not country, it's not grass, it's not jazz, it's not pop music. I cannot make this more relevant. Well, let me give you an example of how you could make it relevant to more people. Imagine yourself on stage in your most favorite concert venue. I don't know what it is. Maybe it is a beautiful, elegant, modern concert hall with gorgeous acoustics for maybe 300 people, 400 people, maybe 2,000 people, I don't know. Just picture yourself on stage of your most favorite concert venue, full of people, close your eyes. Imagine concert venue full of people who came to enjoy your music. And ask yourself a question, in that crowd of people, how many people they are who would understand you if you talked about musicological facts from the life of the composer? How many people would find it relevant if you talked about secrets of fingering or bowing? Well, maybe a couple of people who are also professional musicians and who have spent doing that very thing for as much time as you did. But if you shared with this crowd of people why you became a musician, what is your favorite feeling to feel? What if your favorite feeling to feel is to feel loved? How many people in your concert hall also like that feeling of being accepted, respected, recognized, loved? How many people in that concert venue who would also love to find a way to share their passion for whatever they do, which has nothing to do with music? Well, the answer is that's probably close to 100% of people, rather than as opposed to the number of people who would dive headfirst into musicology with you. So this is how you could make what you do, regardless how niche it is, more relevant to way more people. Well, maybe you could find lots of humor in what you do. Well, question is, how many people can relate to humor? Well, the answer is lots of people. So what I'm talking about here, this is very, very important. I'm talking about the art of chunking. So the more granular you become, the more technical you become, the more musicological, the more professional you become, the more you disconnect with people, because you become less and less and less and less relevant. And even if you have a whole audience of music professionals who are playing the same instrument, and you tell them that the very best strings are Thomastic strings or Badiarov strings or whatever strings, well, chances are that there will be lots of people who will disagree with you, because maybe they will say, well, I prefer whatever other kind of strings, right? So, however, if you chunk it up and you speak about more universal values, what is culture? Well, we connect in culture. We are able to communicate in culture because we are sharing common human values. If there were no common human values, there will be no even possibility of having this conversation with you today, because we would not be able to communicate, connect. So how powerful it is when you create connections in culture. Well, you create a better world. You change the world. I'm not speaking about changing the entire world. You change your own world. And maybe you change the inner world of just one person in the concert hall, or across the camera if you are talking to somebody through the camera lens. And when you do something beautiful, something meaningful, something profound, and that inspires other person to do something meaningful, noble, profound, valuable, and that person inspires another person to do something valuable, fulfilling, I think there is sort of magic in this, and that will not change the entire world, but it will change your world, and it will make the whole world of difference for that person in your concert hall. And if you are the person who inspired them, guess what? You probably made them feel their very favorite feeling, to feel they want to have more of what you want to share. They will come to your performance again, and then again they will bring other people, because they will say, hey, you know, this guy or this lady, she shared something so mind-blowing. I really wanted to come there because, oh my goodness, you probably will find something valuable in this. So can you take yourself into a very near future, maybe a few weeks from now, maybe a month from now, maybe a year from now, and imagine yourself in that situation in your life where you are so magnetic, so charismatic, that you're surrounded by a crowd of people who are very appreciative. Do you see your life changing for a lot better? How do you see your life? How would you feel in that situation? What kind of energy you would attract in your life? What kind of life you would bring to the people you care about, your family, your children or grandchildren, spouse? Probably a wonderful place to be, rather than to spend time talking to people listening only to disagree with you. Again, any fool can know the point is to understand. And how you can do this? Well, of course you can do this just by playing music. And playing well, having great technique is very important, because you need to be at the state, you don't need a perfect technique, but you need to have a technique sufficient enough for you to be able to focus on music. So then when you're on stage, you're not thinking about technicalities, you can fully focus on the musical message so that you represent something with the instrument. But you also find in that your very unique voice. And this is where we are getting even deeper. Probably we'll speak about what does that even mean, unique voice, in the next conversation. Now, you might be wondering, who am I and why you should be listening? I'm Dmitry, and I'm the author of this published book on fine violin making, from the old master's legacy to the future of the craft, with a foreword by top 10 New York Times bestselling author Raymond Aron. I'm the author of the upcoming book on the spalla, how violinists can find their unique voice and open new career opportunities in 14 days. And in the past 30 plus years, I've been specializing in crafting instruments for world-class musicians from anywhere in the world, and helping both musicians and instrument makers, guitar makers, luthiers, violin makers to attract more success and more fulfillment in their lives with remarkable results. So this is what I'm passionate about. Now, in the next video message, I would like to speak about finding your unique voice. What does this practically mean? Because Yo-Yo Ma said in one of his conversations that the point of doing anything in music is finding your unique voice. And I strongly believe the same. And this is a kind of a lesson you can learn from all of the greatest artists who have ever lived. Now, in the next video, I want to speak about what does that practically mean and how you find your unique voice. I want to share with you a few thoughts. So if you found some value in this video, then make sure to like, share, comment on this video. If you have any questions, then you are very, very warmly welcome to simply ask me in the comments of this video. If it is something very personal and you do not feel like broadcasting it to the whole world, well, you are also welcome to send me a private message via my website, or maybe there is a link or button somewhere below or around this video. And make sure to subscribe to my profile page or channel where